Hey guys, it's your girl Boonie, and you're listening to episode 181 of the Boonie Breakdown podcast, your source for all things responsible and ratchet. Support for today's episode comes from We Vibe Womanizer. Unlike a traditional vibrator, the Womanizer uses pulses of air and pressure waves, similar to the sensation of oral sex on the clitoris. Discover longer lasting and more intense orgasms now. And as a Boonie Breakdown listener, you can receive 20% off your Womanizer purchase by using the code VIP20. The code expires on June 30th, 2021. Details on how to purchase can be found in the show notes and on thebooниebreakdown.com. All right, welcome to this week's episode, guys. We have a fun one here. One of my internet BFFs, Yoni of Yoni Talks TV, is our guest. By the title of this episode, you can already tell what type of episode this is. But she shares her personal story of how she packed up and left the DMV, went to LA, and she talks about the dating scene in LA. And I went all up in her business to figure out how she be getting money and trips and things from these men without giving up any of the coochie, as she says. So stick around for that conversation. We're going to hop right into my pick of the week this week. Pick of the week goes out to Cruella. I watched that this week with some friends. We split the cost of the that Disney Plus premium thing they had going. So we sent the extra $30 to KG. So shout out to KG for letting us use his account and paying the premium. But Cruella was pretty dope. I didn't know what to expect. Like, did I care enough about the villain to care about their story? But I thought Cruella was really good. I definitely want to watch it again because the fashion was dope. The storyline was dope, especially because normally my friends and I watching it, we thought we had it figured out. And there was a little switch in the plot where we were like, oh, snap, we didn't see that coming. So we did not have it figured out. But it was just so cool to watch them even show some of those classic Cruella scenes that you remember from the cartoon, like her driving the car all crazy. But they did a really good job. And I saw so much critique about the fashions in the movie, which spot on. They were amazing, well-deserved. So I think it's worth the $30 to watch it because you do get to keep watching it, I think, for whatever period of time with Disney Plus. But yeah, it's worth the watch. So check it out if you have not. All right, we're hopping into housekeeping. Last week's theme for the week was boundaries. Our guest was Tamarisk Locke, author of You Got Me Fucked Up. So many of you sent in great things about this episode, and I'm so happy that you guys had so many takeaways or refreshers from it. Someone said, I loved it. It really made me think through my boundaries and feel good about sticking to them. It was exactly what I needed in this season. And so if you have not listened to episode 180, I really encourage you to go back and check it out because we all need a refresher course on boundaries because sometimes your boundaries are always going to be tested. So it's all about you being strong in them and being able to enforce them to protect your own sanity and peace, etc., etc. So I implore you to go back and listen to episode 180 if you have not. All right, guys, after this week's episode, there are 2 more episodes left in season 9 of the Boonie Breakdown podcast. Season 10 will launch on Monday, August 23rd. So go ahead and mark those calendars now, but 2 episodes left. In the meantime, if you still want to get some Boonie time and hang out, you should probably join our Patreon page. We're going to do some fun things in the off season over on Patreon. So you can join for as low as $3 at patreon.com/the Boonie Breakdown. All right. And we have to do a shout out. We have to shout out our newest Patreon member. Shout out to Michelle B for coming in at the ratchet as fuck level. So thank you so much for signing up. And again, you can head on over to patreon.com/the Boonie Breakdown. We have our group chat, which is always jumping and live. And if you're at certain levels, you can get access to monthly Boonie live events, whatever that may be. each month is different. All right. So again, you can sign up over on Patreon. Lastly, if you are not following us on social media, you can do that. We're at Instagram and Facebook at The Boonie Breakdown. We're over on Twitter just at Boonie Breakdown. And you can follow us on TikTok at The Boonie Breakdown. You can follow us on Pinterest at The Boonie Breakdown. We're in a lot of different social media platforms, but most active over on Instagram. And if you have not done so, you can leave a 5-star review too over on the Purple app in Apple Podcasts. You just have to search for The Boonie Breakdown, scroll down, hit write a review, or just hit the 5 stars, one or the other. But if you want to go the extra mile and write a review, that is bomb, and I appreciate it. So that is it for me, guys. So let's get ready to break it down. Hey guys, it's your girl Boonie, and it's always fun when you get to have a guest on the podcast who's kind of like your internet friend, but you ain't never met in real life. So I want to welcome Yoni to the podcast.
Hey, girl.
How are you?
Listen, I'm great. Life is good. I feel good. I look good. I am good.
Come on now. And it's funny because I don't even remember how. I don't know if you follow me, I followed you, but I don't even know how that happened. But you are funny, you're hilarious, our content is aligned. Mm-hmm. So it just made sense for you to come on here.
Yeah, I think it's so funny when you find your internet friend and y'all just, start to connect and build some chemistry. I remember, I don't know, I found you and I was like, okay, this is just very transparent, very open, very outgoing, and also very funny. So it's almost like, you're educating, but then you're also, being comedic at the same time. So I was like, okay, this is my type of girl right here.
Likewise. So if you guys have probably seen her go viral with her holding up, I think it was the sign. You had 2 signs that I felt like went viral that I saw everyone sharing. The one where you were holding it up and it was like, if you're looking for a sign to be a hoe, this is it. And the other one was like, don't be a pussy, eat one. And you were looking bomb as fuck in your bikini. So kudos to you, sis.
Thank you.
You're based out in LA, right?
I'm based out in LA, but I'm from the DC area.
Okay.
I live in LA now.
How did you get to LA?
That good old one-way ticket. A few years ago, I was working in consulting for a major consulting firm. I work full-time in technology. And a part of me, I was just like, I don't want to move. I want to go to LA. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I don't even know why. But I was just like, I want to go to LA. I want to work in entertainment. I don't know what I want to do, but I feel like I want to be behind the scenes somewhere in entertainment. And I was dating someone at the time. I guess we can say we were dating pretty seriously, but in my mind, it wasn't that serious because I was just like, hey, this is what I want to do. No, I don't want you to come. I am leaving in a month. I'm leaving in a month and I'll see you on the other side. So yeah, you know what? I was reading a bunch of books at this time. I was reading like The Alchemist. I was reading Eat, Pray, Love. That's all about like, leaving and living in your truth, what you want to do, living in the moment, all that stuff. So I was just like, okay, this ain't nothing but a word. I'm out of here.
So what I love that you said there, because you very rarely hear women say, I had someone and I said, you know what, I'm out of here. Bye. Mm-hmm. I think we're so, especially when they get partnered, coupled, attached, they find it very hard to walk away even when they're not fulfilled. And so kudos to you. I love that.
That's facts. I mean, I will be remiss if I say that I didn't give that relationship more time after I left than I should have. Mm-hmm. But I disconnected physically. But while I was in LA, I was definitely flying back very frequently. I was basically living bi-coastal and entertaining that relationship because there was that anchor. And at that time, this was almost 7 years ago. In October makes 7 years. So I was still pretty connected. We had a crazy tie and it was difficult to leave that attachment. But like at this time, if it was this, it wouldn't even be a question. It's like, okay, next caller, please.
So how was the dating scene in LA? Do you feel like it's better with the change of scenery since you are from, I'm in Baltimore, you're from the DC area. Do you feel like dating on the West Coast is at all different than the East Coast?
I do. I know, a lot of dating here is very interesting because there's so many different types of people. You have, first of all, men have their pick. It's like Baskin Robbins for them. It's all different flavors. The women are beautiful. Like you go out, you might think that you are the hottest thing smoking. You go out, it's gonna be like, okay, I am hot, but like it's about the heat out there. Like I thought I was a good 10 walking out. All right, I'll readjust the nozzle. I'm might be a high 6, 7 right now. So the men, they have to pick up the litter. And I will say that, here is just like every day is almost summer. And the reason why I say that is just because, in like DC or Maryland, Baltimore, wherever, most places you're looking forward to summer, right? You have the winter, you're looking forward to summer to turn up. It's going to be hot. It's going to be fun.
Living for the warm. Yep.
Yeah. But here it's almost like every day is almost the same. So we don't have
jealous. Like I'm so jealous because
yeah,
it's just perfect weather every single day. Like you don't even check the weather.
I don't. So it's like no true sense of scenery. So with that being said, I think that there isn't the same type of drive for like relationships or security. Stability doesn't exist the way that it does in other places because you could just be like, okay, having fun. So a lot of times like the marker that a lot of single women use is like, okay, if there's a new man that comes in town, he's fine, or he's, has his stuff together, you have to get on him ASAP. You can't let him get a taste of what's out there because once he get a taste of that drug, it's baby, it's going to take him a while to, reel it back in. And yeah, in addition to that, it's also like, it's a very interesting dynamic, right? Because it's like, okay, the men, they have their pick of the litter with beautiful, a variety of women. And women, if you depend on where you want to have your network or go out, you have the pick of the litter when it comes to the type of men that you want. Like you have, your potential is limitless. Like you could be dating your creative, your artist, your creative producer, a poet, a singer, whoever, or you could also be dating a millionaire, billionaire, actress, a business person. It's like you have like so much variety that's there that I think for men it's like, okay, she about to leave me for a nigga that got more money. For women, it's like, okay, is she about to leave me for a more beautiful woman? It's a very interesting dynamic.
I was going to say, it sounds like LA is kind of like men's options are related to their wallet and women's options are related to their beauty, right?
It's
probably
crazy.
To the extreme there, just because of the environment with Hollywood, etc. So I always ask that because someone I know who lives in LA always provides like an interesting perspective, and he lived in New York, and so he just always talks about how different the coasts are. Like it's just like a completely different feel.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always say I'm not actively dating right now. I will rev back up in a little bit. But I just say, I can't focus on everything at the same time. But but let me make it also very clear. We got options too. So it's not like I can go pick right now. I don't need to add.
I know that's right.
We're sustaining right now. But I will say I want to get better at dating because I don't like feeling like dating is a chore. And I felt like I had gotten to the point where it just felt like a chore for a little bit.
Yeah.
So I just stepped back from the scene and we'll pop back up a little bit. I wanted to say, because you kind of tapped on this a little bit and I wanted to talk about it, but not so soon, but we're going to go here. I felt like I was having this conversation with someone recently, and you know, I feel like social media is partly to blame. Everybody is, you know, not, and I'm saying everybody in air quotes, people, but everybody is like doing, everybody wants to be a bad bitch these days. Just gonna say it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think people really understand what it really takes to be a bad bitch. Like, are you really
Mm-hmm.
ready to do that? It's a whole lifestyle. It's not just, and so I'm going to set the context and how I was saying this. Someone I know
Mm-hmm.
personally, I think they're cute. They're like a good looking average person.
Mm-hmm.
You see them, you're like, oh, she's cute. Yeah, I like
Mm-hmm.
her. So now she's deciding to go get a BBL.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just like, why? Right? Because I'm
Yeah.
like, now you're gonna move yourself to a different, like you're pushing yourself out of you're good looking for an average person because now you want to go dabble in the bad bitch pool. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm the honest friend. And so I'm like, so are we getting titties now? Are we getting teeth?
Mm-hmm.
like I just feel
Mm-hmm.
like if you're gonna commit, you gotta commit. You just can't
Mm-hmm.
say, oh, I want a big butt.
Yeah.
You're not going to do the rest of it. So was
Yeah.
I off base or do you kind of feel the same way?
I think that this is funny. So I gotta think that like, yeah, I think yeah, it's levels to just life, right? So you could be, a beautiful person, but you're, beautifully average, but you say like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, you're going to maybe get some cosmetic procedures and level you up to advance, right? So now you playing in another league. I mean, the league now I think is a little bit different now than it was say like 5 years ago or
I
so.
completely agree.
But you're playing in another league right now, right? So your options should be different. This investment that you're making should be able to pay for itself. Like, okay, if you want to have some kids, had them kids after you done had a situation done, so you can have a new caliber of man that's going to be able to have access and provide them kids. Um, but I do think that if you're gonna go, to me, it's like nothing should be mediocre. If you're gonna go, you better go. And but I think if you have some natural features, because I think that within this game, I feel like the natural beauty of people are also getting lost, right? And even with
Oh,
me,
yes.
I think my best quality, just based on other people, the compliments that I get, my best quality are these curves on my face called my smile.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one time I was like, should I get my teeth like? So I don't even know what I was thinking in my mind to even get, because it's literally, I've never had braces, but I have great teeth. You have
You have a
beautiful
nice
smile as well.
smile. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just like, what? I think it's just like the idea of just seeing things all over. Like, do I need to get? And it's like, I don't need to get literally anything done to my face. So I think that perhaps like, yeah, if you're gonna get the ass, the stomach needs to be right. You can't
Yeah.
have,
Like you,
the stomach needs to be right. Let them titties sit as well.
exactly.
Maybe you don't need to get the teeth, it's like get the veneers, but like, okay, if the teeth aren't that nice, maybe just like fix them up. You can make them still look a bit natural. It doesn't have to be like
Mm-hmm.
a full set of
You don't
veneers.
need the chiclet teeth. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, you should have, you want that one hit a quitter, okay? You want that one hit a quitter. Just go ahead and do it all or don't do it at all, man. Just go in for the kill.
Yeah, that was the point I was trying to make. Like I was like, I think if you just start down this slope, it's just you want to maintain things and then you're
Yeah.
always are going to have to critique. And I think when you notice, I was like, because I was like, what was your reference point? And naturally it was something she saw on social media.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, but you have to look at the way some of these girls live. If this is what you're trying to
Mm-hmm.
do, they're always out. Because why you
Mm-hmm.
gonna get all this work done and then go sit in the house? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are we doing this
Mm-hmm.
for? For you to go work at a call center? It doesn't make sense.
But the goal isn't to work at a call center though. The goal is probably to not work at all.
Yes.
So you're gonna be out
You're gonna be out in
until
these
you in.
streets.
Until
Exactly.
somebody brings you in. And I think what's also important too is like the type of person, the type of I mean, I just take a step back because I made an assumption. I made an assumption that she may want to have some of this done to attract certain people. So I don't want to assume, but a certain thing
Well,
is going to.
I mean, your assumption was okay.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I think one thing that should also be considered, is how much she gets done, right? You could get like a skinny BBL or like
Mm-hmm.
something that's a little bit more modest, right? But once you coming out, you looking like Nicki Minaj, you're going to attract a
It's a
certain type of,
different,
you
yeah.
only going for the rappers, you only going for the athletes, it's going to be a certain caliber type of man that's going to be attracted to that. So just really understanding what you want, and also what those people that you want have access to, right? Because now
Yep.
you compete, you in the big leagues now, you're not in the college recruiting
You in the
NFL,
major
you in the big
leagues,
leagues, you're in the
yeah.
major leagues now. So
And that is the perfect analogy because that's what I'm saying. I'm like, you are a nice looking average person, but I say if you start making these tweaks, now
mm-hmm.
to use your analogy, you're starting from the bench. You're starting from the bench. And now you're
Yeah.
gonna have to commit to this. Like, so do you have the money for this lifestyle? How are you funding this lifestyle?
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, I just pay attention. I don't think people think it through and just like how much work is required to be in this
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle that you see on
You
social
know what?
media.
I saw this girl on Twitter. She was just going through the journey of her BBL, and not even just maintenance, but I think the post-op is crazy. Like you're
Oh,
just draining and just laying on your stomach for weeks. And I think this particular girl, she didn't have like the recovery. I think she got the surgery done in Miami, but then she didn't have the recovery there. I think she flew home wherever she was from. So she couldn't like sit on her butt on the airplane. So I guess once they took off, she was like on her knees, like facing the seat. It was crazy.
oh my
So I think,
God.
when you talk about the funds, right, it's not just about like the surgery that the surgery, like, oh, the surgery funds, but it's also, I think it may cost even more sometimes to have those post-op, like maybe you need to have a room for a few weeks to
Mm-hmm.
recover. Like you're not trying to be back home. And when it comes to being financed, like how are you paying for it? Do you already got men that you have in line and they maybe want to throw some cash in there? Or you got to have like, I'm talking like I have my body there or something, but I feel like I'm pretty much
Look, we
aware.
done seen it enough that we experts.
It's like you have to have a strategy, right? You have to have a strategy. It can't be, okay, I'm gonna get my body done now. It's gonna be, I'm gonna just be a magnet for every single man. All right, I'm getting this body done. What type of man do I need to attract to pay off this body?
Mm-hmm.
Or what type of man do I need to attract? Or what do I need to attract to make this investment worth it? I think that's important. To make this investment worth it, what do I have to do after this surgery? Because it don't have to be, okay, I'm attracting a man to pay for it. But there are opportunities that you can have for yourself, depending on the type of personality or type of person she is. There are opportunities that she can bring upon herself by just looking a certain way, right?
Yep.
So I shouldn't just say like a man, a man, a man, but I mean that's an important factor we can't cap.
But the key word there was investment. So
Yeah.
yeah, because I don't know if you saw, did you see today the pictures that were circulating of K Michelle's new face?
I have not.
Yeah, if you go to her Instagram
I'm
page
surprised she
there,
has a new face though,
she is a
because
whole new face. And I will say this, the work is immaculate. Like
mm,
the lips are amazing. It's like a new jaw situation. Like sis,
I'm surprised just because of the way that she would speak about her body and her complications and how things didn't go well. I'm surprised that she would still be.
doing that level of surgery. I
Yeah.
completely agree. But when you go look at her page, um, you'll be. I mean, the face is sitting now, but it's like
Not the
who's
face is sitting.
it is like because I was really looking like, damn, well, what surgeon did this? But and then
Mm.
I'm laughing at people in the comments like natural beauty. Like, okay, now y'all not gonna sit here and play in my face either. But her
Wow,
lips,
this
I
does
keep looking
not
at the
look like
lips.
her. This is
Right?
crazy. I mean, I don't keep up with her, so I don't like know
Me
like okay, this is
either.
but she kind of looks like that girl Tommy a little bit in these photos.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Um,
From Love and Hip Hop.
but yeah, this looks
Yeah, I
beautiful.
mean, yeah, she looks great. Like it looks so good. I really like the lips the most.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so
Those lips are nice.
aren't they? I'm like, let me. And it's so funny because I'm kind of like you. Like I just feel like um the only kind of surgery I think I would do, like if I ever decided to do like gastric or something and I lost weight, the skin
Mhm.
removal, I don't feel like
Mhm.
I would touch my face because it just makes me so afraid that when you see so many celebrities go down this road, they can't
Mhm.
stop. Like it's like you
Mhm.
can always find something, and I don't want to end up like one of those tragedies. But
Not tragedy. But see, see that's something to also consider too, right? To do something if you get like something like gastric and there was to be weight loss, you're going to lose
mhm.
you're just going to lose in your face as well. So then you may end up looking a bit hollow. So then maybe it won't
You have to
be
get fillers or
work done, but
something.
then
Yeah.
fillers and stuff like that, right? To get you back and out of that hollow type of look. So
Agreed. And I think I've been recently like so, and this is not judgment, but I just been shocked because I didn't realize how many black girls had been getting lip fillers.
mhm.
And regular black girls, just like normal black
Mhm.
girls. And so
Mhm.
I'm just like, oh, I'm behind the curve, everybody. I should have been out here getting these lips filled. But yeah, now I'm
mhm.
looking at Kay Michelle's new lips, and I'm like, oh my god, her lips look so fucking good.
No, these are like perfect.
They are. So I was on. I'm changing topics, kind of, a little, sort of, maybe. But I was on one of your IGTV lives a couple weeks ago, and I sat in for a portion of it, and then I went back and let the rest of it play. And you were talking about. I love the topic because I was like, this is not. You hear about it, and I feel like it's kind of like those myths. But you were talking about men giving women money in exchange for nothing, and I was so intrigued because I'm like, how, where these men at? How that work?
That's so funny. How?
Like where they at?
Mm-mm.
So yeah, like you were saying, I think in the part that I was on the live, you were talking about how you had gone on trips
Mhm.
and you
Mhm.
didn't have to do nothing.
Mhm.
And I need some, yeah, I need some more conversation there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the future say. Life is good. It's like,
Because I
it's
know there are
crazy.
women out here who um might need a little, stimulus, and
As they should.
yeah.
I mean, I think it's just interesting. I could even I think sometimes this stuff is actually at this point kind of just unbelievable. But I'll give what day is it today? My days are all screwed up because of traveling, but I think this
It's
was day
Thursday.
before yesterday. This
Okay.
day before yesterday. So I had just gone back to LA and I was like, okay, some of these men on this roster, they're not acting right. I was like, let me just check in on this old trick real quick just to make sure, we still in tune. And so I just hit him up like, hey, you good? And so he just excited to hear from me. He's like, oh, I haven't heard from you in so long. My baby, what's up? Mind you, this is just somebody I'm cool with. He has an attraction to me. He would probably rearrange my guts if I allowed him to. Um, but he really just be giving me cash. So um, I'm like, yeah, what's up? Whatever, I'm good. Then he's like, meet me at the Grove, which is like the shopping area, this
Okay.
afternoon. So you ain't saying nothing but a word. I'm there. What's up? Be the house. We go. We have lunch. And while we at lunch, I'm like, let's go to the Apple Store. I need a new phone. And so, of course, with this COVID thing, just messing everything all up, he's like getting impatient. Like, I don't feel like waiting in line, blah, 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 da, da, da. Like this, I got a couple $100. You say this $200 right now. And you could just, I'm like, but I don't need a couple $100. I need like $1,000. So I want a new phone. So, so he's like, all right. Well, he's like, so he's like, all right. So he's like, let's go to Nordstrom. Go to Nordstrom. He was like, look, I think that you should get one of these perfumes, whatever. Work with this lady and just find whatever you want. So end up finding this perfume that was just like, it's not, oh my God. It's just, it'll just have men in the Matrix. Like
Okay.
it'll just have men in the damn Matrix. It's called Delina. I forget the Delina. But so beautiful. Anyway, get that. head out. He's like, okay, here goes 500. Just come pick up the other 500 at the end of the week, and you go get your phone. Okay, great. So literally, I just planned to come out the house to maybe have lunch or whatever the case might be. I done had, when we valet my car, yeah, go ahead and put a car wash on it. Got a car wash, got lunch, got this expensive ass perfume, and half my just cash. If I decide to get a phone, I can get a phone. If I don't, I don't. But like, just off the strength of just like, okay, yeah, I'll link up with you. So I just enjoy just like sitting in my feminine presence and not really feeling like I have to do anything, but actually just like receiving, right? Yeah. So that's just an example of something that literally just happened. And I'm not putting out, I'm literally not doing anything. I just think that sometimes like not, just being cool, being feminine, being a woman, having respect for yourself, and also just not necessarily, because it's like, I don't be sexual, I just be in my own world, just being myself. Like I will literally just be talking the same way I'm talking to you or anyone else. And I think that maybe it's the idea of these men who have the access to many women that are willing to probably just bust it wide. And it's okay if they are willing to bust it wide open. And there's somebody else who's not even like, I feel like sex is not even something that exists. I think that in their mind, it's just like a mind trip. Like, what the hell is like, huh? Okay, what do I have to, let me just readjust or figure things out. So when I went to Cabo, like one trip I went on, which was, I think, the trip that everyone was like, oh my gosh, what? Oh my God. Oh my God. I mean, that
because it was funny about
beautiful.
Your trips though.
That shit was so like beautiful.
Look, the funny thing about your trips is like when you were, and I think it maybe was this trip, but you were like, show the hands. I'm like, oh, she just teasing. Like, I'm not going to show. I was like, but I'm not mad at you, sis.
But it's like, I can't show it. Like,
no, I get it.
It's like, I can't. I mean, I could, but it's like, it's also like, because it's like, I'm not. Okay, so just for context for your listeners, I did go to Cabo. I was invited there for my birthday. This was not someone that I was. They had an interest in me. We weren't dating. It's not a serious dating or anything like that. But he wrote out every stop that was accessible. I'm talking about like the bag spent on that hotel was probably damn near 6 bands, private yacht. Like he did the most,
Come
right?
on.
So to me, it's like, I wouldn't even want to, especially the way the story has gone, I wouldn't even want to expose him. I mean, he is very aware of my Instagram. He's very aware of my conversations. He's tapped in and watched my lives before. It's not a secret. But like, I would want to protect him in a way where it's like, I don't want him to be like a laughing stock where people are like, oh, this is the nigga, he did all this and he ain't get no cheeks, but I want to have more gifts and more excursions and escapes. So I definitely wouldn't want to want to put him out there like that and have him feeling sad. Look,
that's fair, because I think this was a topic at one of my live shows we did, and someone had asked us, like, you're going on vacation, and is the expectation that you have to have sex? Mm-hmm. And most of the audience was like, yeah. Like, if he's paying for it. And so I think it is this natural expectation that, relationships or situationships or whatever, dating is transactional, right? Like, I'm giving you something, so you got to give me something. And I do think it is fascinating, because I just know me, like, that's probably why I don't exert that energy to men. Because I'm probably like, if I'm down to fuck, then I don't have I have a different type of allure. Like, my allure wouldn't be like, yeah, I'm gonna be able to I don't have self-control. Maybe that's what it is. I don't have discipline. Where I'm just like, all right, I'm in the mood, let's go. But when I was just listening to you, talk about your situations, I think that was what I was picking up on. It was just like, the one guy is holding out for just that one day where you might just finally be like, yep. And you're like, I don't know.
Okay, so I think the thing is, it's not even, I mean, of course, they may be, they're men, I'm a woman, they may want to explore or experience me sexually. But I think that I always joke around and say, like, oh, you just got to bring the vibes. You got to bring the vibes, just the vibes,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But I think at the end of the day, like the guy that I mentioned this week, at the end of the day, I think that like he actually just fucks with me. Like, I don't know if you've listened just as yet. Bow Wow was on the Breakfast Club and they mentioned Angela Simmons. And his response was very assertive. He said, what did he say? I think he said, Angela, that's my dog. He looked in the camera. He was like, Angela is my dog. He said, anything Angela ever wants, I got her. Like, we got a different type of connection. I got Angela. That's my dog. Like, he made it very clear where they stand.
Okay.
And I think that once, like, to me, it's like once men start fucking with me, it's almost kind of like, yeah, they probably love to get the pussy, but it's also like, damn, she's cool as hell. And I could just be vulnerable and I could just be talking to her and she's also funny. And it's like, next thing you know, you just caught in the matrix. You just spent $5,000 and you don't even, and you don't even know what happened. Now you're just stuck in the matrix. So I don't even think it just boils down to like just sex at the end of the day. Because I don't know, it's just interesting. But when you say like the transaction of it all, I do, I always say like, I don't think coochie is a currency unless you want it to be. I think if I was actually fucking these men, it would be a different conversation right now. My car would be different while I'm living. It would be a different life that I would be living. But I think when women want to, people are always in my DMs like, I want a guy to treat me this way, or I want a guy to buy me stuff. I want a guy to this, to that, whatever. And what I think is important is if you want a man that's going to treat you a certain way, take you on vacation, buy you certain things, or whatever the case might be, then why are you entertaining men that are not doing the things that you want?
Come on. Now, see, we could flip this the other way, right? If you
Mm-hmm.
want a man who is the husband relationship material, then why are you
Mm-hmm.
entertaining men who can only buy you things and have no intention of commitment? I like the way you
Exactly.
think, miss.
Exactly. I think that people don't realize how much control and power, like this is your life. Like think about your life as a movie. You are directing your own movie. You can do whatever you want. You could cut people, you could bring people in. The world is literally your oyster. So it's like, why would you continue or, stay in situations where you are not happy, you're not fulfilled, and you are not even open to attracting things that you may actually desire. I think that sometimes
Mm-hmm.
it can be like a sense of just like, I don't know, just based on things that I've seen, I think some women don't think that they deserve it. There's some women that, like this one girl was like, oh my gosh, girl, like getting flown somewhere, like guys don't even know how to take you on dates no more. They don't even know how to ask. And I'm just like, I don't, not the men that I know, the men that I know, like, I just went on a beautiful trip to East Africa, Seychelles. Like I went on that trip, I planned to go on that trip just to go on that trip. Someone was kind enough to end up basically paying for the whole trip. And
Damn.
this is someone that I have not slept with, but they just fuck with me. But it's the thing about it is it's kind of like, if you want a man that's going to be providing for you, you have to, first of all, be dating men who have that mindset. And it's not a transactional type of mindset. The
Mm-hmm.
mindset is really like, I care for you and I just want to make sure you are good. I want to make sure that you are okay. You're feeling safe. You're feeling secure. You're feeling stable. And there's certain type of men, and I would definitely say foreign men for sure, most of the time, will do certain things. And it's not like, oh, I'm doing a tally. I'm doing a checkbox. I'm doing this. It's like, hey, are you good? And I remember when I was younger, the guys used to like, it would really just be foreign men really like, oh, you good? Yeah, I'm fine, blah, blah. Until I recognized when they asking you good, they're asking like, what do you need? And okay, well, actually, I
Ah.
need, I need this, I need that. So I think a couple of things, like one, if you want to attract a certain type of man, you have to change your mindset to receive. People are always like, Yoni, put me on to do that. I'm like, if I put you on to a man, you won't even know what to do because your mindset sometimes is like, oh, men ain't shit, men are this, men are that. So if that's your mindset, why would I be introducing you to any of my people that I know and my friends in my circle if that's your mindset? Like
Yeah.
so I think that mindset shift is important. As well as understanding like, I don't know, just just a man's going to show you who he is immediately. A man's going to show you who he is immediately, and you'll be able to pick up on the signs. We're not silly. We know what's up, and if something is just not meeting your standard in your movie, right, you can easily cut and move on. You don't have to entertain. You don't have to be on social media trying to air nobody out. If you stay in a situation, you need to take accountability for you staying there. It's not somebody else's fault that you done went on 10 dates when you saw the signs from the first date. That's your fault.
Listen, we put them blinders on real quick. Well, he cute.
Right.
And that's all you see. Or he got money and that's all you see. Yeah.
Yeah. And it goes back to strategy. Like if it's like, oh, he's cute and I just want to have sex with him, stick to your strategy. Know your assignment. Stick to that assignment. If he got money, all right, he got money. This is what I want to do. This is how I want to spend it. This is how his money can benefit me. Stick to your assignment. Him having money, you want to get some. That don't mean that you got to be fucking. That don't mean that you got to be trying to make him your man. That don't mean it's like focus on the assignment instead of bringing all of these other variables to complicate the situation.
Listen, Miss Yoni done dropped mad jewels. We done heard focus on the assignment. Coochie's not currency. It was a few more in there.
Oh, you know what? Let me say one more thing in regards to what you're saying about these trips being transactional. I think it's really important to say that, when a man expresses that he may want to fly you out somewhere, right? Some women may think like, or guys, most guys immediately like, all right, well, it's an exchange. I'm flying her out. I'm paying for everything. The cheeks is mine. Life is good. Some women may feel like, oh, I don't have to. Some other women, like you said, at your show, express like, like why else would I be there? I'm cracking it. I'm busting it wide open. But what I think is important is you don't have to do anything that you don't want to do, but it's important to be communicative about what your desires are before you go on any type of trip. If you feel like, so if you just met somebody on, I don't know, on Bumble and y'all exchanged a few messages back and forth, y'all don't even know jack squat about each other and they want to fly you out to meet them somewhere. It's almost kind of like the underlying, you can insinuate what they, where they're at with it, right?
Yeah.
The communication should still happen, but it should still be very clear, like, what do you think is happening here? But I think it's just generally just very important to just have that conversation beforehand. Like for Cabo, that trip, I literally, it was a matter of, I wish I did something for my birthday this year. Like it's coming up, it's the same time every year, and I never planned for it. I don't know what I want to do. Oh, damn. I was like, oh, COVID messed it up this year. Oh, damn. What would you, have wanted to do? I'm like, all right, let me just go ahead and put some layers on this shit real quick. I don't know. Maybe the spa, maybe the spa, whatever, facial, massage, all that stuff. Maybe some shopping, maybe some travel, whatever, blah, blah. So, okay, well, where would you want to travel to? I don't know. And at this point, like half of the world was open, half of it was closed. Like, I don't even know, so I'm trying to compute in my mind real quick. Like, what can I say? So we had that conversation. Like, okay, cool. Like, let's figure it out. We can go. So I end up asking like, okay, well, what are your expectations on this trip? Guy flying a girl out. Like, what are your expectations here? Just straight up, not beating around the bush, not trying to, what are your expectations? He's like, all right, we just go on. We go on. We cool. We go on as friends. I'm like, all right, cool. I was in a position to feel comfortable enough to trust that he meant what he said. Like, granted, if I decide like to change that, then that's another story. But like, I'm able to discern, and this is not the first time like I've actually flown out somewhere and just not done anything, but I'm able to discern like, okay, this is a man of character. I'm not going to play games of like, okay, well, I think that one big red flag, and I might be just rambling at this point, but one big red flag is like when men be like, if you might ask a man for something or say something or insinuate something, and it's like, oh, well, what you bringing to the table? Or what do I get out of it? I feel like those are two big red flags because at that point, it's a transactional
he's looking for
type
something.
Of thing.
Yep.
If he gives you something, he's expecting something back, right? So I think that those signs can be there. Just pay attention to them. But if you're going to fly anywhere, make sure you have that conversation in advance. Make sure you also have an exit strategy more than just like, okay, well, I can fly back on my own if something happens. But like, depending on where you are in the world, You might need to
It
get
might
a
be
hotel
some
at the
more
last
effort.
minute or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It may not be an easy feat to do that. So just actually have an exit plan just in case, and just know who you're dealing with. Like, just know who you're dealing with. If you're
Yeah.
gonna go and you want an all expense paid and you want to just live life is good, make sure you're going with a man that has proven himself in a certain way before that, instead of and knowing how he moves. Like Cabo, I didn't have no reason to do anything but show up. Literally, just show up. Like I'm talking about, I end up leaving my hat behind. This damn hat that I had that was so nice, but I just kept on leaving it every fucking where. I left it in the airplane. I left it. Oh, we were in this yacht. Left it on a damn yacht to the point where he's like, okay, like send me your address. I'll just order you a new hat. And it's just like, thank you. But it's like at this point, I could buy my own hat back. Like you done pay all this damn money. I could buy a damn hat back. But yeah, I think it's important. Like just know who you're dealing with. Men sometimes, men, they be transactional, the type of man. Just know who you're dealing with. Don't go with a guy that be having you split in half of this and doing that if you feel like you want to be somewhere with somebody who's taking care of things and you may not want to, invest your box. That's not going to be every man. This is going to be a rare situation. But I've had more than one of them, so they definitely exist.
They exist. They're out there.
The unicorns.
But yeah, I just think everything you said is just about knowing who you're dealing with, being aware yourself, and not being blinded by whatever might be a blinder to you. Sometimes it's physical, sometimes it's emotional, sometimes it's the material things. So and also, like, I think the biggest thing too in terms of people who I know personally is like, it is easy to front sometimes that you can do like men or whoever you're dealing with. But we're talking about heterosexual relationships here, people. But like men, sometimes the car might be rented, right? So make sure like you're not getting smoke and mirrors as well. So that all goes with, know who you're dealing with, because anybody can rent anything these days to give the appearance that they are in a situation to give you the things that you were seeking. So don't be getting played out here, sis. I can't let y'all go out like that, but be smart.
Exactly. I remember this guy just telling me how he basically talking about how he got all this money. I'm just like, if you have all this money, you're not spending that on me. This literally is just, it means nothing to me. Like, where, show me, buy me something, show me. It means nothing. So yeah, when you have like, these people with jewelry, and I mean, you see it here in LA as well. You have people that could be, renting all types of cars, Bentleys, and it's just for show. They're going to go back to a studio apartment that they may be sharing with somebody else. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. So, to have your discernment, have your checks in there. If you see somebody, they doing all this stunting, okay, what are you doing for me? You're expecting me to go Dutch on the bill? You know what I mean? Okay, yeah, all right, let's go to the store. What's up? Like, what you doing?
Yeah. So yeah, just be smart, people, when you're doing this, because I don't want to hear no stories, and I don't want to see no screenshots of people I know who was out here getting played.
I know.
And you got flued out and it went bad, and now you can't fly yourself back home.
I feel bad for stuff like that. Like, the TikTok that's like, oh no.
Oh yes.
No. Oh no.
Like, dang.
I'm like, but again, I think it also goes back to know who you're dealing with. Like, I feel like I could go act berserk and crazy on a trip, but these men that I'm fucking with, they're not going to just leave me out there. These I'm fucking with. They will be like, I'm leaving the trip and here go $1,000. Just enjoy yourself. I'm just annoyed. Let me get out of here. Like, like they're not just going to leave me straight. But I mean, you never really know. But it's just, again, just knowing who you're dealing with. Like, know who you're dealing with.
That's key. All right. We're at the point of a conversation where we do the breakdown. So, Yoni, I am going to say one word. You can say the first thing that comes to mind. It can be a sound, a phrase, whatever. Okay? All right. First one, Black women
are magical.
Curves.
Fat dick. Oh, it's one word.
That works. Money.
I want some.
Dating.
Love it.
Vacations.
Love it.
Sex.
Want it.
And last one, sponsors.
Ooh. Essential.
That's funny. So can you tell everyone where they can find you on social media, on the internet? Anything you would like to plug right now?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Yoni. You all can find me at Yoni Talks TV on all platforms, but I'm mostly engaged on Instagram. That's YONI Talks TALKS TV. As you've probably deduced from this show, I talk a lot about dating and sex. And weekly on Wednesdays, I tend to have an Instagram live show that gets very fun, crazy, and it's all about my dating life, other dating lives, and sex. We do get nasty.
Look, y'all should, anyone listening to this should not be clutching their pearls. So be sure to follow Yoni and check out her show on Wednesday. Like I told you, I've sat in on a few of the lives and they're really fun, good time. And you don't gotta sit there the whole time. You can go back and watch it later. That's what I do. Let it play like a podcast. So thank you so much for doing the podcast.
I'm happy to be here and thank you for having me. I just want to commend you because you have been consistent and you're doing great, sweetie. You've been holding this podcast down for some time. And I find it very commendable because I know that as a creator, it's not easy. And it takes a lot of effort, a lot of time. And sometimes it gets a bit frustrating, like just working through the process, going through the motions, and just also just kind of engaging to understand like what people like and how to pivot and things like that. So I just want to shout you out and just congratulate you on everything that you've done so far and everything that's to come for you.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And she not lying, y'all. It's hard. That's why I'm like, I'm actually cutting this season a little short just to, because that was my pledge to myself and my audience, that I wanted to stay consistent. And like the last 3 seasons, I haven't missed a Monday in season.
Wow.
So in order to do that with the life changes I have happening, I was like, look, girl, this your own shit. Cut this season short and, and we'll holler at y'all in August. So, so thank you for the kind words and at you. And it's just always so great to see other Black women building something and growing. And I always try to amplify others as they do me. So thank you.
I love it. Thank you. As she said, it's hard. Tip your podcast host. Go ahead. What's your cash? Send them your cash. Give her a tip, okay?
$ Boonie Breakdown, or you can go to Patreon.
Right. Support the Patreon. Send her a tip, man. It's
for sure. And I think people forget that we put out money to make money. So, and we don't be making a lot when we first start. So, it's like it's like a snowball, like an avalanche. As it keeps going down the hill, it pick up a little bit more.
Yeah, that's why I find it so impressive that you stuck to it, recorded, you do your content on Instagram, which gets very creative, by the way.
Thank you.
You're like graphics and stuff. So it's very impressive. So I hope that everything that you desire comes to pass for this podcast or just in general for your life. And yeah, it's good. It's good stuff, sis. And I personally, sometimes I'm like, I don't feel like doing it. Okay, I'm just not doing it. So you shout out to you for having that energy and and releasing no matter what. So
I try. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. And guys, be sure to follow and support Yoni as well.
Yes, and take these niggas' money, okay?
Perfect note to end on. All right, guys, that is it for this week's episode. I want to thank our guest, Yoni of Yoni Talks TV. Again, be sure to follow her over on Instagram. Check out her weekly Instagram live show. You guys are going to enjoy the content over there. Also, be sure to support our sponsor, We Vibe Womanizer. You can use the code VIP20 through the end of this month to save 20% off of your own womanizer. All right. And if you enjoyed this episode, I encourage you to listen and subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, or any app that you listen to your favorites on. Don't forget to leave those 5-star reviews too. You might just hear your review on the next episode. Follow us on all social media. Share the episode with those you love, those you don't love, those you fucking hate. I don't make these pretty images for nothing, okay? Have a dope ass week. Stay healthy, safe, and sane. Thank you for listening. And remember, the ratchet in me always honors the ratchet in you. Ho my stay. Until next time.